I found for years during my professional cooking career to be torn between two different paths to take on in the case that I would be successful. The first path was for me the only way to go about it, and then at one point I was torn between two different directions to take. When I started cooking, I was 17 years old. I had the energy that I don't have today. It was different. I did what I found was the only right thing to do at the time. I packed my luggage and I went to Paris because I wanted to learn to cook, where the restaurant scene started, in my 17-year-old opinion. So I took off with this idea that I was ready to work and work really hard for the entirety of my life. When you're 17, you don't know what it means to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 at all. And the further you go into the future, the less you are considerate about what to think or how to deal with that time. But at the time, I just had a lot of energy and I was ready to go. And what was my role model at the time was the chef, which I called is the Jiro Dreams of Sushi style, which is the craftsman that in the end sacrifices everything around him that is not his craft. It's the daily grind. It's the just get up, be there before everybody else, work hard, and keep just a laser focus on the one thing that is your calling, which is cooking, which was cooking for me at that age as well. So I was just all about learning the craft, getting as good as I possibly could, because this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Little did I know that over time, my interests started to sort of diversify a little bit. I don't know what it is, and I'm still trying to sort out what it was from my childhood or my upbringing that made me so determined at such a young age to want to go out and be competent. I wanted to be good at something. I wanted to work hard to achieve it, or I was at least very much ready to work hard to achieve it. Then the first sort of fruits could be harvested from my work, in the sense that I, at an early age, mid-20s, was, after working at Bulli and being a sous chef at Noma, I had the opportunity to gain independence by owning my own restaurant, by opening my own restaurant. So I did so. That was Relæ, and opened in 2010. And I had somewhat put myself where I dreamt of being by following the path of the craftsman. I was independent. I had my own business, and I had created the circumstances that I dreamt for my whole life, which would be the ones that would put me at the center of everything, where I would be cooking all day, every day, and loving it. And I did. But then life evolved. Now, this is 10 years later. I consider my first 10 years as my apprenticeship. And then I was independent. I had my own thing. And I maybe gained enough competence to feel competent, or maybe the external acknowledging of my work made me feel competent enough to start maybe relaxing a little bit on this journey towards competence. As I was relaxing, I opened my vision towards other interests. This is when the restaurants, or the restaurant, became restaurants. More ideas came to my mind, and the feeling that I was good at what I was doing made me want to do more. So I expanded. I opened Manfreds, and soon we opened 2 more restaurants, Bæst and Mirabelle. We had a wine import, because that makes sense after opening Manfreds. And I sort of realized that I was diverting from this original idea I had of just being there all day, every day. At this time, I have no sensibility towards what time really is. I have this idea that my level of energy could essentially, fix any problem that I could encounter. I would just get up earlier and work harder or run faster to solve whatever issues would be coming my way. Prioritizing was not a word in my vocabulary. I did not understand it, as in what is the actual sense of the word, which is essentially saying there's some things you can't do, you idiot. While to me, prioritizing meant, what am I going to do before I do the other thing? I'm going to do it all. I'm just going to start with this and then do that also. No, it's about things you can't do. Things you want to do that you actively decide you're not going to do. That's prioritizing. So I had more restaurants and I was starting to move around and I enjoyed it. I loved it. The reality is that Relæ opened in 2010. I have pictures of me experimenting with making charcuterie and mozzarella mid-2012. 18 months after opening my first restaurant. I was doing things that had nothing to do with that restaurant. I knew that this could not fit into Relæ. I was just interested in it. So I would just go and find information on how to make mozzarella, and I would just experiment and try. YouTube was not as well equipped as it is today. There was not a lot of information out there. There was just a little bit. And I was so obsessed by the start that it just took a lot of my time. And was it the right thing to focus on? Well, not if I wanted to stay on the path that I had started on, which would be dedicating my time completely to Relæ. I was mentally already moving on. But at the time, I was not at all capable of either acknowledging it, accepting it, or honestly understanding it. I was doing other things that interested me while not wanting to give up on this idea that I was a craftsman, because my idea and the role model I had of the chef, of the creative, of the craftsman was a person fully dedicated to his work, to master his craft. I felt I was doing that, but I had to do something else. So I was running around, back and forth, slowly diluting my own sort of presence in different things, because in 2016 we opened a farm too. So now I have wine import, restaurants, wine bar, farm, and why don't we arrange a festival as well at the farm? It was madness. But it was all things that inspired me, so why would I say no? I felt called upon to do these things because it seemed right. And I don't think it's wrong, but what I realized at the time is that I was torn between what I had as a role model, which would be the craftsman, and what I wanted, which would be just go into my ideas and go crazy and have fun with it. And I was always torn. And I was always living with a level of bad conscience about not being somewhere else than I was. I was constantly feeling bad about not being in the kitchen at Relæ. I was feeling bad about not following up on stuff at Manfreds. I was feeling bad about not being at Bæst. And I kept telling myself for years that I could organize my way about this so that I, in the end, would be satisfied with what I was doing. In reality, I was not aligned with myself and understanding. In reality, I was not aligned with a true understanding of myself and what I needed in my life. Because I thought that I wanted to go and be Jiro Dreams of Sushi, but everything in me moved me in a different direction. I find that in the restaurant industry, in the end, the role models that you see that seem to be successful are the ones that have sacrificed their entire life on the behalf of their craft. They're the Jiro Dreams of Sushi. They're just there, they're cooking rice the same way, and they are the most incredible craftsmen, right? They do things in a way, and they have a sensibility towards the product and the art of cooking that no one else can achieve, and that's amazing. What I find is problematic is that is not rewarded to the extent that it should be in this industry. Or, I'm not talking about the industry really, I'm talking about society. The other path of the successful chef is the one that, like I, is torn between being the craftsman and just being fucking everywhere. It's not possible to be in every kitchen cooking all day, every day. There's chefs that jump out of a kitchen looking like they've been there all day and they're just pretending. This is a life of deceit that's not good for anybody. More than anything for the one doing it. It's just horrible, living on a lie. And I couldn't sort of understand how could I connect those things. I did not know how to do it. And for many years, this was just grinding me down. I felt wherever I was that I needed to be somewhere else. That's not good. Because on top of that, once you get kids, oh my God. Once you have a family, you have another level of that. Because not only are you not in the right place in whatever kitchen you are, you're also not at home. And when you're at home, there's several places where you're supposed to be. How are you supposed to do that? So the other path is this: I'm a successful chef and I just do a full-on takeover and I expand as much as I can and I compromise on my own idea of what it needs to be a craftsman, but I don't really tell anybody, because this brand, this idea, is what society expects from the chef, so that I can expand my empire and maybe one day I can retire. because I have a lot of money. Or maybe one day I can pretend that I'm working, but I'm not working. Pretending is not good for anybody at any stage of your life, goddammit. You have to stay true to it. And what I found was that I came to a point after COVID where the expansion thing just had a halt. It stopped. And I had to just look at what I was doing and look at myself and look at what my needs were. And it was hard to make sense of. It was hard to understand what I needed. So the question is, what is your path? Like, is there a way where you manage to combine those two, sort of on one hand, the craft, on the other hand, sort of an idea that you can financially put yourself in a situation that can be good for you and your family, which I feel is an extremely respectable ambition. The problem is, it carries a trap. It carries a trap that you just keep on, I just need one more restaurant, or I just need a little more business, then I have time to do what I really want to do. Is that what you're telling yourself?